we go. All right. All right. The computer rebooted last night, so of course it decides to erase the microphone. Anyway, welcome to Houston with a Problem. A little short show today, because yesterday I did a wonderful interview with Bill Marler, food safety attorney. So go down yonder after the show, click on the link for Raging Election, and you'll see that great interview that we did about sort of the politics and the laws and history behind, poisoning in your food that producers create. Yeah, well, thank you. It's great. Yes, it was a pretty good interview. I had some technical difficulties. We did like a 20-minute interview before I realized that we weren't live. So we had to go back and start all over again. Bill did me such a favor. So yes, check that out. Today, we're still in that weird countdown via Ryan Cohen's brother-in-law. We're down to 3 days left. I have a feeling, they might try to crush it, but I have a feeling that GameStop's going to finish a few dollars above Max Payne, putting 3 million or so shares in the money, somewhere around there. So I bought a whole bunch of zero date expiration calls for tomorrow, and at $22.50, just to see what happens. So I got a bunch of those, and if things close high, like close $23 or so tomorrow, I am buying a whole bunch right at close for next week. And I think things can start to get spicy. Now, I saw a thing about an S4 that appeared in the Edgar for GameStop last night, but then was not openable. Like, you'd open it and you just get an error message. I'm not seeing it listed anymore on their page. So maybe somebody goofed and accidentally loaded something they should not have as of yet, that maybe perhaps it was supposed to wait. We will have to see. My throat's a little scratchy today. Get the waters in there. Oh, Cameron's already wants a monkey treat. We can do that. We can facilitate. Right off the bat, monkey. Want one of these? One big old stinky pig ear? Take that one out of my hands. Get it. Right there. Come on. There it is. Yeah, all right. Boom. Cameron, your wish is monkey's wish. Okay, so what do I have to click on now? I gotta do that. Oh, we're back. Turn it off, Houston. Okay. All right. So, where am's eyes? I am in the chat zone because it's a short show, so I'm just going to go straight to the chat, see what's on your minds. N9 was first. Whee! Justin G, great episode yesterday. Thank you. Bill Coyne, last. Luminous Reflections, fourth. Happy birthday, Houston. Case Shaman, fifth. Is Jimmy finally about to very, very possible. If that S4 wasn't some sort of weird glitch that just blink showed up and was clickable but didn't open, that would suggest S4s they're merger documents, right? Isn't S4 a merger document? SEC S4 Registration Securities Act for use for registration under the Securities Act. Requirements. Material information related to mergers and acquisitions. So, yeah. So that's what I thought. So they might be Monday, Tuesday, somewhere in there might be the day. Monday is 1 year since DK Butterfly 9/30/2023 whole announcement thing. I don't know. I got my hopes up. I got hope springing eternal in me right now, and just like my heart's going, and I'm okay with it. Take that into the weekend, right? So, Luminous Reflection, monkey treat. All right. How about the last sticky toothbrush? Yeah, you ready, monkey? Last sticky toothbrush? Ain't no more after this. Yeah. Woo. She's stoked. Cat's in here for his drug deal, probably. And, nice. Okay. N9, you buying the Trump golden watch? The grift keeps on giving. Apparently, those watches, depending on which model you get, sell for between $499 and $100,000. Which my guess is the same watch as the $499 watch. It's just that somebody's agreeing to pay $100,000 for it. Oh, do you want to come over, buddy? Is that what you want? You want to say hi? Yeah? No? You want to leave? All right, whatever. So, that'll be one of those things. Antiques Roadshow, like 2095 on PBS. They'll be like, my great grandfather had this watch, and the person go, 99 cents. Tankman 7th. Chad Williams, what are your thoughts on all the election fraud that's come to light since 2020? What election fraud? That's the question I would ask. Like, what election fraud? Because there hasn't been all election fraud. Matter of fact, most of the people who got busted for doing things like double voting, voting illegally, stuff like that, were Trumpers. Those are the ones that have gone to jail for it so far. So, not really sure. But there's only been like 300 instances of documented voter fraud in the last like 30 years. So, not too much there. Yogi 2012 is the New York mayor going down with Diddy. He's going down, not necessarily with Diddy. He got busted taking money from the Turks and acting as an unregistered foreign agent. Now, if you take money from a foreign source and don't report it to the government, you're going to prison. Like, you just have to be like, hey, this Turkish guy just gave me $100,000. And you report it, and then the government goes, okay. But if you don't report it, you are considered an unregistered foreign agent, and that's like borderline spy asset working on behalf of a foreign government against your own government. So you don't want that on your record. Speaking of dangerous things, Hurricane Helene is about to smash into Big Bend in Florida, which is where the Dingle Dangle of Florida, the bend is, and it's bringing with it a 20+ foot storm surge. So if you happen to be a viewer in that area, I hope you got the hell out and you aren't sitting at home going, well, I guess I'll ride off this storm watching Houston. You're gonna die. It's about 30 miles in any direction before you get above 20 feet. Everyone who remains is not in like a particularly like a high rise, big giant concrete high rise along that shoreline is going to be dead. Their homes are going to wash away. They're going to get smashed with like detritus and cars, and it's going to be gnarly. Not only that, but it's bringing with it an insane amount of moisture. We've seen the record flooding happening all over the world. And this is showing us just how much moisture the air can actually hold now. And they're calling for, from North Georgia up through South Carolina, North Carolina, record flooding. Flooding that beats, the 1916 floods, which were considered the greatest floods to ever have hit in human history in that region. If you are in those little valleys, little canyons, you're up against mountains, get the hell out of there. Landslides are going to be wiping out everything. You're going to have flash floods, torrents. They're going to bring in boulders and houses and trees and cars and trucks, and everything else is just going to be rushing down the hill. You're going to die. So get the hell out of the mountains. Get the hell away from the shoreline. Go west. Go west really far. Just get the hell out of there. Do not be in the path of the storm. It is gnarly. The sheriff's offices in Florida are basically saying, if you remain, you're going to die, and no one's going to be there to save you. They're telling people to write their full name, date of birth, driver's license number on their body and permanent marker, so that when their bloated corpses are discovered, they can identify the bodies more easily than having to use like dental records and stuff. So seriously, get the hell out of there. This is a Category 3 hurricane, which has got some hefty wind to it, but the storm surge is absolutely bonkers. It's coming at high tide. It's going to be 20 feet plus, and it's going to wipe everyone out who's along the shore there. Don't think you can somehow defeat Mother Nature in this, because Mother Nature will clobber you in ways you never even realize. Treat for Fat Cat too, please. The only treats out for Fat Cat are drugs. And what do I do with the drugs? There's the drugs. Fat Cat, you want to get high? Come here. Yeah? Is this? Come here? Yeah? Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, is that tickle your fancy? Yeah. You come over here and do drugs? Yeah. How about I take this pile? It's a little bit of pile from yesterday, but I have a little fresh pile right here. I'll put that right there. Yes. Come over here and do drugs. Come over here and do drugs, kitty. We want you I'm going to corrupt you for the delight of others. Oh, you got to let go of everything. Oh, you're so fat. Oh, my God. Yes, get up there. Yes. Get it. You're standing on it, bud. You got to turn around. Nope, you're sitting on it. You got to turn around. It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. Come on. Yeah, you see it? You see it? And what if I take my hand and I push it? I push those drugs so where you can see it. So it's like right. Oh yeah, that's the stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Luminous drugs. Here is people telling me sound is off. No sound. Oh crap! The cat is on the mouse here, and I need to scroll. Okay, no sound. Muted. Lol. Ha. Ha ha ha. None D Biz is here. KC, nice interview last night, man. Thank you. Luminous Reflections, great interview. Thank you. By all means, again, clickety clack. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family. I need to get like 3,700 more viewing hours before I can monetize that channel. So you'll be doing me a favor if you even if you don't care about the interview, just hit play and walk away. Go do work or something. Tinkman142, any news on G-America or Teddy as they pertain to GME? We need an announcement or something. Feel we are on the verge of something, either something cool or something not very cool. That's Zero Hero. That's where we are. Nothing new that I know of that's official. Although I did see last week people were posting that Teddy is still filing trademarks. So they got some sort of plan coming. Yeah. Turkish. Got Tankman the Turkish. Where's the money, Wadowski? At Citadel and Star Island in Miami. Since 54, what countdown? I'm out of the loop on this. Ryan Cohen's brother-in-law. What's his name? Jason. Quad 1000, whatever his name is. 1000. Quadrillion? Jared Lang, that's his name. So Jared Lang, boom. Boop, boop, boop. So Jared Lang here, he, not too long ago, on the 21st, said any minute now. And since then, his account has been counting down his followers. So he's been removing a follower a day. And he started at like 13 or something, and he's down to 3. So he's currently following shitcoin, and I have no idea what FinQT is. Probably another shitcoin thing. So the idea is, or the thought is that it's counting down for something GameStop related, or it's counting down to some sort of shitcoin that he's going to launch, and then everyone's going to hate his guts. But, he's telling people to buckle up. He's saying, we're going to space, and so on. I really hope it's not some shitcoin. I really hope that it's something GameStop related, because if it's some shitcoin, but October I think should be interesting for Bed Bath & Beyond in general, namely because, well, we got a year since DK Butterfly, right? We also have a year since they removed the ticker, and then on the 23rd of December will be 18 months since they filed for bankruptcy, which after 18 months the creditors have the right to submit a plan for reorganization, and that could be anything, really. So if this isn't wrapped up before the 23rd, then the creditors get a crack at it. So that should be interesting, to say the least. Hey, fat guy, you pleased with yourself now? Yeah? Oh, yeah, those pupils are huge. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Oh, someone's scratching your butt. Oh, yeah, chew on my arm. Yes, chew on my arm. Yes, chew it. Yes, oh, yeah. Get your tail out of my water, man. Nothing worse than a cat hair in water. That's the Unterbite. Just Bodies, Houston. Since Moo Dang is a meme, do you have some fun hippo-related facts to share? Other than the fact that hippos will kill you, that of pretty much any animal on Earth, they kill more people. Probably the mosquito. Probably kill more people other than mosquitoes, be my guess. That's no, get your face out of my water. That is not your water, dude. No, I need that. I need sustenance, not kitty breath. Yeah, you lay down right there. You sit on your drugs and you hang out. That's That's Keto Karaoke. Hippofax. Yeah, they'll straight up murder you. Even like Mudangs have pygmy hippos. I think the pygmy hippos aren't quite as awful as like full blown African hippos. But you know, I've seen accounts like somebody finds a baby hippo, and they're in like Botswana or South Africa, and they raise it, and it like lives with them, and it sleeps in their home, and you know they 2 years old. It's like the family pet, and then one day just murders everyone and goes and hangs out in the pond. Like they're awful. I saw a video. There was a TV show like 25 years ago called Maximum Exposure, and basically it was kind of like a YouTube clip show before YouTube, where you just saw like crazy home videos and things happening. And one of the videos was a juvenile hippo on some sort of, you know, game farm or rescue or something like that. And a guy is trying to feed it, and the hippo starts chasing him, and it bites, and it literally takes the dude's butt cheek off. Like, imagine you got two cheeks. It was just gone. Like, cut through the jeans, just this perfect thing, and all he saw was just pink flesh and him screaming, and it cut out. Like, I do not mess with hippos. They are vegetarians, and they're very angry. And they don't swim. They're too heavy to float. They actually jump off the bottom of the river they're in, and to get their heads above the water. That's how powerful they are. So yeah, don't mess with a hippo. Maybe mess with Mudang or pygmy hippos, but not the big boys in Africa and big ladies. They'll mess you up. So Nerd Alert Houston, can you talk a little bit about money supply, MO, M1, M2, M3, and how MOASS market collapse will affect the different categories? Thanks. I mean, loosely. Okay, dang it. It has to do with like liquidity and access and who has it. So MO, I believe, is money supply, MO. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, MO is what's in circulation. So basically like the cash in your pocket, the cash at the till at the grocery store, the money that's free flowing and moving around. M1 is liquid deposits, such as checking accounts and bank balances. So that's known as narrow money. So it can be in circulation, but at the moment it's sitting somewhere. And M2, I believe, is investments. M2, the total volume of money held by the public at a particular point in time. So that's everything. And M3, I believe, is Federal Reserve. What includes M2 plus a large time deposit, institutional money, market funds, other less liquid assets. Okay, so that's pretty much M3 is the grand scheme and what all the banks and everyone can come up with. But how it will affect M0, like the cash you have in your wallet and it's in the till at the store you just went to, that's not necessarily going to be affected immediately. It is the big M2, M3 stuff, which is your investments and what the banks have in the big institutions. Those are the ones where things will get squirrely because a lot of that is lent out, has been borrowed, right? So you're a big bank, you have money, you lend it out to someone. You lend it out to a business. You lend it out to someone to buy a home. You lend it to someone to buy a car. You have it in credit cards. Or you perhaps have 5,000 hedge funds that are all underwater on margin on you. And they pledge their collateral to you for that cash. And if MOASS happens, their collateral gets dumped. Basically becomes worthless. And they have to sell it into the market, which causes a lot of the M2s around the world, a lot of the investments people have to also drop because they're dumping assets into the market, causing, more supply than there's demand. And the banks don't get as much cash back as they need, which means that the depositors who have money in the M1s in their savings accounts aren't backed anymore, which means you now have to go to the FDIC and have them pay back everyone's accounts and start closing down banks and taking them over and auctioning them off. And yeah, the MOASS will definitely cause everything to go hibbledy-bibbledy. That's for sure. Stephanie L, super chat. This may be a stupid question, but I'm curious. When there is a storm surge, is there marine life like sharks in it? Yes. Anything in the ocean is now in the land. What you'll find a lot in storm surges, you'll see like dolphins and sharks playing around and swimming around, all sorts of fish. And then when the water pulls back, it smells terrible because a lot of fish get trapped in garages and alleyways and streets, and they just bake in the sun and bloat, and it is so smelly, so absolutely smelly. But yeah, tons of sea life gets mixed in there, and then with a storm like this, if people are not heeding the call and getting the hell out, there's going to be a lot of humans that look like balloon animals floating around in there. And I was joking with Julio on Twitter earlier, but it'd be pretty incredible because we'll be honest, there's kind of two categories of folks who don't leave. Maybe three categories of folks who don't heed the call and leave when a giant storm is coming. You've got the poor who can't afford it. Those are the unfortunate ones. The elderly and the poor, they don't have, they may not have a car. They may not be able to have any loved ones help them get out of there. So they're poor, invalid, people like that, or folks like that are just, they're doomed. And it's really sad and tragic. You have the ignorant who, to this day, haven't cracked open a newspaper, see on television, heeded a call, pay attention to the alert coming on their phone, and they're just going to die because they have no idea that this thing is coming. And when it does hit them, you're like, what the hell is going on? And then your third category are the people who think they're stronger than Mother Nature. And those people are morons. Their hubris will take them out. They'll be hung by their own petard. And in that particular region, it is super duper 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 red. It'd be kind of interesting if Trump loses Florida by the exact amount of people who went missing during this storm, is what I'm saying. Heed the call, get the hell out of there, save your life. Your home's going to vanish if you are anywhere close to the shoreline on this thing. You just get the heck out. Yeah, Jiggish, wondering if the storm will affect the election. It definitely will. And it's going to be big deal that Biden get his ass down there, get FEMA in there, and start helping people as quickly as possible. You don't want to go into an election with terrible storm response and something like this. You're going to have to fire on all the cylinders. So Kamala and is going to really have to get this out, especially since these folks probably no longer have insurance. Or if they do, they can't afford it. And if they do have insurance and they can't afford it, or they can afford it, the insurance companies can now just refuse to do repairs, and you can't sue them for it. And it's, Oi, excuse me. I think I may have gotten. There's so much catnip. Just this cat blows so hard out his nose it just goes everywhere while he's trying to eat it all. I think it will definitely have an effect in the election, for sure. Yes, you are right, Jigish. Shadowfire's here. Juice Mammy, I strolled in by mistake. What's going on here? Same shit, different day, says Kate Chapman. Zuma Gadu Nub. Another crypto coin countdown. I hope it's not. A large part of me thinks it is going to be some stupid crypto coin that's going to try to maximize off his connection to his brother-in-law to hype some dumb coin no one cares about. And if it is Wencoin, you can't even buy it in the US. You have to get a really sketchy foreign app, do so via VPN, and then you can buy this coin that for some reason can't trade in America because it's that sketchy. So it better not be Wencoin or something else. Come on, dude. That's what I have to say. 64 overview on the hype, please. What's going on that you're hyped about? I'm just stoked right now because Max Payne, as of a couple of days ago, was $20. GME Max Payne. Okay. Boom. What do you have it at? You have Max Payne at... That's not telling me at all. Max Payne's at $21. Max Payne for next week's at $20.50. So we're above Max Payne by $1 and change right now, which is good. GME options chain. Okay. So Max Payne moved $21, and that is why Are you giving me an error? GME options chain. GME options chain. There we go. Okay. What's closing tomorrow? So Max Payne's $21, but we got a big chunk here. We got 9, 13, 14 to 19, 20, 32. We got 3.2 million shares currently in the money. I have a feeling we could put another 12,000 in the money here and be at about 4 million shares. I think if we close at 23 or above, it's pretty good chance that we start to see some real gamma next week. Especially with Max Payne being at $20 for next week. So, we're all kind of hoping there's going to be some sort of announcement of some kind that makes things interesting. I'm not entirely sure if that's what's going to happen, but I sure hope so. I mean, it'd be awesome to get to 25. I don't know if it's possible tomorrow, unless some sort of news item comes out. But I think 23 is doable. That we can bounce to 23. It's been kind of doing like 21, 22, 21, 22 for the last few days. We did have, I think, on Monday's close. At close, there was a candle at 24, but it didn't register as the final price at that. So, in implied volatility is still pretty low. We're looking at for next week's options. Next week's options contracts. We got a few, not as much in here to give with. The 18th is the monthlies, and that's where we're seeing like huge amounts of purchases. We got 14,000 at $20, 22,000 at 25, 27,000 at 30. So these are the monthlies, and there's a significant amount that, if we have any real movement in the stock price, with these suckers, we'll see lots of volume and trading going on. At 22,000 at 25. That's just, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Looking to see what the options chain is doing as of close tomorrow. I think will be the interesting thing. Did Monkey Butt rob a tennis court? Oh, the tennis balls? Mystery Michael loves to say Monkey Butt tennis balls. Monkey cares about tennis balls every once in a while. For the most part, unless she's really excited, she's like, got the zoomies. She'll grab a tennis ball and then she will defuzz the entire thing. But she only gets that kind of zoomies every once in a while. So they kind of sit lying in wait for her to find them fascinating. Yeah? Want to eat a tennis ball? Do you? If you ever play with it and her, she'll go bonkers for it. But she's not a ball obsessed dog. I think a lot of her peculiarities have to do with the fact that she was living in the jungle by herself as a puppy for her first 9 months. So a lot of her interest in toys and development kind of caters to the things she found in the wild, like bones or soft creatures, and not man-made things like tennis balls. So, yeah, you're just a weird dog because you grew up alone before you had a family, right? You were all alone in the jungle. And then they discovered you and put you on a plane and freaked you out and brought you here. Okay. Judas Mammy says T-3. I hope. Inept Owl, new here. Tell me about MOASS. Thanks. MOASS is, I'm not going to say a myth, a soon-to-be legend. It is a hypothesis that if we hold a certain stock or set of stocks tight enough, while hedge funds, market makers, other insiders, and other industries and institutions naked short that stock into oblivion, that at some point they end up so upside down on their short play that they are forced to buy everything back at an insane amount of money. And because we're not selling, right? We're holding. We're like, no, screw you. I'm not selling until, I can buy Persia. And so that's the idea. We've seen several squeezes in the last 3 years We've seen little baby squeezes happen on GameStop where things were about to get out of control, and then for some reason, they shut off the buy button. They do a massive short attack and bring the price down a whole bunch. Like it hit 350 in March of 2021, and they did a massive short attack, dropped it down to $170 in 10 minutes, and then it shot back up to 250 almost instantaneously. So there's an active opponent here who as long as they've got access to capital, they can do some serious battling with us. But the goal is to get them to run out of capital. Hey, fat cat. What are you doing down there? Where'd you go? You just bumped me. Oh, you are. Oh, it's a kitten. Oh, my goodness, kitten. That's not the fat cat. That's the little kitten. Come here. Come here, little buddy. Oh, my goodness, the kitten came to say hi. Hi, bud. All right. Are you calm today? You are. You're just a little calm little buddy. Okay, we got the kitten. The Muna. Yeah. Oh, no, there's a whole bunch of catnip there. I don't think the Muna's old enough to have catnip. So we'll just make sure you won't get that catnip, right? Okay. So, that's kind of the basis behind MOASS. It's a pie in the sky. It's a hope. It's a dream. It's, what we're playing for, because why not? It's fun. There you buddy, monkey. Say, little buddy. They're starting to play with each other a lot more now and having a great time. Zapdos. Shout out to Monkey Butt and the Fat Cat. G'day, kitty. Ooh. Monkey, be nice. KC, Houston. So apparently Diddy is on suicide watch. You think he will be Epstein too? Yes. I mean, that dude, my guess is FBI sees all sorts of records, videos, compromising photos, etc. And it implicates a lot of people. And so either he offs himself out of the sheer embarrassment of knowing that he's going to go to prison for the rest of his life for being like a weird diddler, or one of the powerful people is going to be like, bing, right? Which is kind of what we think happened to Epstein, was one of those two things. So yeah, him being on suicide watch, perhaps New York has learned their lesson in the Epstein case and not to have like broken cameras on the cells of high profile people. And it looks like Eric Adams is going to be serving with him here soon. So that's going to be interesting. A lot of news people are going to be outside of the jail. KC, he's got a lot of dirt on a lot of people probably. He definitely has a lot of dirt on a lot of people. Aaron Salentine, your mod on Reddit said I was being rude calling the Dems and Reps elites, that we need a third party to move Dems back to the left. The result of Trump is because Dems pushed NAFTA. I mean, I'm the mod on Reddit. Were you being mean? NAFTA resulted in the North American Free Trade Agreement. They scrapped NAFTA and did the CMPAD4. I don't know, whatever he calls it. The collective agreement of Canada, America, Mexico trade agreement, whatever they call it, which is essentially NAFTA. So they did the same thing. And then earlier this week, Trump claimed if John Deere moved manufacturing to Mexico, he's going to tariff them 200%, which is hilarious because his Canada, Mexico, America trade agreement thing makes it illegal to levy tariffs against products from Mexico. That's the entire point of the trade agreement, is to create a free trade zone between our countries to keep manufacturing from going to places like China. So Trump was kind of pulling out of his ass on that one. But yeah, send me a note, because I may have been like, this is stupid, and hit that. Just buddies. Then you put Diddy and Suge Knight in the same cell. Oh, that would be fireworks at that point. Diddy would die, though. Suge Knight is scary. Scarier than Diddy is. And Diddy is pretty terrifying. His dad was a real gangster. Like, you ever seen American Gangster with Denzel Washington about Frank... what's that dude? Gosh dang it. Frank... Frank Lucas. So Frank Lucas was a gnarly ass gangster back in the 70s. Like, he ruled the neighborhood so much that he could shoot somebody in the face in broad daylight and no one said a word at all. Frank Lucas's lieutenant was Puff Daddy's dad, P. Diddy's dad, Sean Combs' dad. Like, he grew up with serious gangster lineage. And as terrible a rapper he is, honest to God, like, true gangster. So, you know, he might put on the front to people like, oh, MTV Music Awards and everything, but he made a facade that hid something much dirtier and much nastier behind it. And he grew up apprenticing basically with the gnarliest gangsters in New York. And so, yeah, just watch American Gangster with Denzel. It came out, what, like 15 years ago? 17 years, 14 years ago. 17 years ago. And just watch it knowing that the little kids in the background, one of those is Puff Daddy, absorbing all of this. So, yeah. Says 54, don't worry, Florida, you have DeSantis and Scott in charge. Thoughts and prayers. Yeah. Don't worry, Ron's going to come up with some sort of plan to turn all that space into golf courses like he is for all their state parks. So, yeah. Aaron Saltine says, oh crap, I just lost Aaron Saltine's thing. Where'd you go? Aaron Saltine says, the Democratic Party created the symptom of the rise of Trump. How do you vote for a problem that created the problem in the first place? Black Swan event with a third party taking the presidency? Third party is not coming close to the presidency. That's not happening at all. Kamala is way out ahead, and she's got this thing in the bag at this point. No, third parties don't stand a chance in hell. NAFTA did not create the problem of business going overseas. Just watch Roger and Me, which was Michael Moore's first documentary about GM leaving Flint, Michigan. It came out years before NAFTA was ever a thing, and GM was already moving like Cadillac production to Mexico and offshoring all sorts of their stuff. This is before NAFTA was a thing. Having a strong continental manufacturing sector isn't a bad thing. Part of the current trade agreement is that, you know, when cars are made or things are made, that they, you know, a certain minimum wage internationally must be met. So, you know, the workers in Mexico are making kind of what would be considered a living wage here on those cars. And you know, it's different than moving manufacturing to China and then trying to bring the cars in from there, than it is like having, you know, parts made in Mexico, the car assembled in the U.S., or the parts made in the U.S., the car assembled in Mexico, and so on. So that NAFTA didn't really create the drain of American manufacturing. Plus, under the Biden administration, we've had the largest growth in manufacturing since World War II. And domestic manufacturing since World War II. That's pretty insane. Like, the number of manufacturing jobs that become available and the amount of products being made in the United States is growing for the first time in like 60 years. So, you know, the Democrats can play on that all day long. Shadowfire, NBC is reporting it as a Category 4 now. Oh, okay, so it's up to Category 4. Gnarly. All right. Aaron Saltine, we have two right-wing parties in the U.S. As a historian, it is very frustrating to see. We have a center-right and a far-right party. And the center-right party does have people who are center-left, and not very people who are leftist, I would say. Like, you know, the people that they get charged are communists and stuff like that. Let's say AOC or Bernie. They would just be like regular members of labor in other countries. They would not be seen as anything that's like obscenely far to the left. People who complain about the fact, oh, we're becoming communists. Dude, we don't have national health care yet. Like, you can't say we're even coming close to communism unless people actually have health care in this country and don't have to worry about premiums and insurance and crap like that. So I'm not too worried about labeling the Dems as you know, center right and Republicans as far right, because America has a two-party system Third parties can only act as spoilers necessarily. And your choice is between destroy everything and watch racist militias murder people and kind of preserving the status quo. That's basically our choices. And sometimes that preserving the status quo ends up with, good legislation every once in a while, right? People getting more rights than they had before. Gay people being allowed to marry, women getting rights, things like that. So those are your two options, and you can try to go for a leftist. You can go for Green Party, but Jill Stein is a Russian puppet. She is truly owned by Putin, and she doesn't do anything to further the Green Party's goals or aspirations. She just shows up every 4 years, collects a bunch of money, loses an election, and then shows up again in 4 years. She hasn't put in the groundwork. She's not running for Senate in whatever state she's from. She's not looking to try and get Green Party members in the school boards and city councils and state legislatures. They just show up every 4 years, get a bunch of money to try to pull as many votes from the Democrats as they possibly can, so that the Republicans can win, because that's their job. That's their entire goal. They're there to give you lip service, be like, oh yes, I believe in these things. They know they have no chance in winning. There's a reason why Jill Stein only criticizes Kamala Harris and never Trump, because she's trying to pull votes from Kamala Harris, and that's it. That's her entire job. That's her entire goal. And then there's no other serious third party candidates. There's probably some dude for libertarians that no one's heard of. RFK is done, although he's suing to try to remain on the ballot in New York so he can try to pull votes from Harris, which I don't think is going to work because everyone knows he's batshit. The end of everything, status quo. Those are your options. Nate Biz, put it in a sock, Houston, and give Fat Cat the sock. I can probably do that. He is currently stoically just staring off into the distance here at the opening of the doorway. U.S. Miami, yep, it's going to hit in the middle of the night. Yeah, what is? Let's look at the National Hurricane Center here. So we got Helene. Give me your graphics. Give me your graphics. Storm surge warning. Okay. I understand. So this is, damn. That goes in a good distance right there. Damn. Okay. So it's not even watch. It's just straight up storm surge warning. That it's coming and you're doomed. Which graphic is this one? That one is showing the path. So it looks like they're expecting it to go hit right there in the bend a little bit west, take out the South Georgia, the North Georgia mountains, the southern Appalachians, go through Tennessee, Kentucky. It's going to drop a lot of rain in there. We're talking about rainfall. Catastrophic hurricane force winds, damaging gusts penetrate well inland over portions of Georgia. So yeah, they got hurricane warnings all the way into inland Georgia because the storm is that powerful. Catastrophic life-threatening flash and urban flooding, including numerous significant landslides expected to cross portions of the southern Appalachians through Friday. Considerable to locally catastrophic flash and urban flooding is likely in the northwestern and northern Florida and southeast through Friday. Widespread significant river flooding and isolated major river flooding are likely. My guess is going to drop 30, 40 inches of rain. Just looking at the size of it, seems really ridiculous. Peak storm surge, 15 to 20 feet here in the bend. That's, I mean, even, so what hit Fort Myers last year was like 8 feet, and they're going to be getting 4 to 7 feet from this anyway. So Tampa Bay is looking at 5 to 8 feet, and you guys aren't getting the brunt of the storm. You're getting the edge. So all the way from like Pensacola on over looks pretty shitty. Goodness gracious. So that does not look good at all. Okay, storm surge inundation map showing that basically every waterway is going to be fucked. So, not good. Wind speeds, we've got hurricane. This is a wide swath of hurricane force winds. That's a very wide swath. This storm is huge, absolutely huge. That's where the eye currently is. Everyone's getting the rain, and the bands are coming over for all of Florida. Yeah, get the hell out of there. Just leave. And actually, right now you might not have the chance to, because the storm surge is already hitting a lot of places. It's starting to overwhelm bridges. And then remember, those areas are really low-lying islands, and these bridges, not all of them are made for navigational channels, so they don't have huge arches to them. So they might just get wiped out in no time. Aaron Saltine made $38 today in reverse stock splits. Nice. There you go. Keep those little gains coming. Those reflection. Cats are the best. They're pretty good. Hey, monkey. Is your buddy here? Yeah? Or did you go eat out in the hallway? Luminous Reflections Houston, what's the date that comes and goes and we can say it's done over for BBBY? I don't know of a specific date, because bankruptcies can take as long as they take. The interesting date coming up will be the 23rd, when the creditors have the option to submit their own plan for reorganization. So I have a feeling that it's going to reorganize before the 23rd, just based on that alone. That I think there was a plan, like the creditors were already fairly involved, and that they're just going to pull this thing out of bankruptcy and be on their way. So, whenever, if it doesn't happen then, it'll, something will happen in the future. And when we see a reorganization emerge, right, it all depends on how it's worded. Be like, yeah, we're reorganizing, we're going private, and no one gets equity. All right, then we're screwed, like Party City or something. But I just have it in my gut that equity is going to be coming back to the shareholders, Hertz style or better. Probably stupid. Houston, off topic of stocks. Ignoring political, sociological, and other factors, do we have the tech and ability to build an actual space elevator, or is it still in the sci-fi space? We can probably build the cable. There was a company about 10 years ago that was attempting to get funding to start just producing the cable needed out of carbon nanotubes. I don't know if they ever took off or they got the funding, but their idea was like, you give us money, we're going to build, tens of thousands of miles of cable. And then when a space elevator is approved, we can launch the sucker into space and drop it down and anchor it somewhere along the equator. That was kind of the plan. I think we could do it, personally. I think it would be one hell of an engineering project, and I think we should do it just for the sake of asking if we can. But basically, if you don't have a space elevator, the Earth's a globe. It rotates. If you go out from the equator out to about 30,000 miles and you put a satellite there, as the Earth rotates, the satellite orbits at the exact same speed. So the idea is you put a big giant satellite 30,000 miles out and you unfurl a cable all the way down to the Earth and you anchor it to the Earth. So you have this geostationary satellite and you got this big giant, cable, and then the ribbon is insanely strong. So it's made of, carbon nanotubes or human hair or whatever. And you have this machine with like rollers that pinches the cable and it rolls itself up and down. So it can take, weeks and weeks to get a payload up into space. But the amount of energy involved is insignificant compared to, fuel and launching things that way. So you can get really heavy payloads into space with this anchored geostationary sort of space station that's out there. Now, when you start to get out to 30,000 miles, there are some things you have to worry about. So like when we launch people to the moon, right? We go through a particularly thin part of the Van Allen belts and we pass through very quickly at tens of thousands of miles an hour because the Van Allen belts have a lot of charged particles. It's really bad for humans. So the space elevator may not necessarily be able to take humans out, depending on what the Van Allen belts are doing, but they can take payloads that, don't care about such weird temperature fluxes and excited particles and things. But I say we just do it. We just see if we can. That's to me that's the best kind of engineering. Is like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see if we can do it. That's when you get the cool stuff. Yeah. Oh, there's the kitten. Hey, buddy. Kid's climbing inside the bookshelves right now. Okay, it's a short show. I only have 8 minutes left. B-Dizzle. I saw one of them was Wen Moon. I'm hoping that it's some pun like that and not Wen Coin or something. Is Monkey okay? Monkey, you okay? Yeah, you're okay. Yes, you are. Yes, she is. Juice Mammy, I've been told the Chinese nuclear subs are superior to ours. Please discuss. Oh yeah, China's one of China's 6 nuclear subs filled with water and sank at its home port. So, oops. As pointed out, subs are supposed to sink, but not with the water inside. That's where things broke down. Yeah. President State Productions is assuring Stephanie L that no question is stupid, usually. G-Money, can you explain the mask wind flute theory? I've never heard of the mask wind flute theory. Mask wind flute theory? I am seeing mask wind flute theory. Flute tools, how you play flute. GME. I'm seeing nothing popping up, so no, I cannot explain it to you because I can't find any reference to it at all. So no, G-Money, I am of no help on that one. Just Mammy, DeSantis has his big white rubber boots already. Wouldn't it be amazing if DeSantis shows up again in those big white rubber boots? Because they mercilessly made fun of him last time. Like, does he internalize that criticism and go, oh, I should probably wear something else? Or does he like go, no, I like these boots and I'm wearing them anyway? Because he's kind of stubborn like that. Yogi 2012. I'm sure Biden will give them like $700 and then send tens of billions to Ukraine. Let's see how that goes for Kamala. I mean, so far the Biden administration has done a really good job responding to storms. They've had effective FEMA director. They usually allocate funds when asked. That's the thing is that the state of emergency has to be declared by the state in order to trigger FEMA. So like Texas ran into problems when they got hit with a hurricane earlier, and they had massive flooding. And the power went out for like millions of people. And at the time, Greg Abbott was overseas in Korea trying to take credit for the infrastructure bill that Biden put through and was not responding. And the state lieutenant governor did not declare an emergency. And without declaring an emergency, there are no federal resources that can be made available. The state has to declare emergency. So people in Texas suffered for weeks on end because they just never declared a state of emergency, so that FEMA could never be activated. Absolutely silly stuff. But if DeSantis declares state of emergency, you know, FEMA will show up and responders will show up and stuff will get taken care of. But it all comes down to being able to declare that state of emergency. I'm sure they've already declared a state of emergency. Florida declares state of emergency. Yep. They declared a state of emergency 2 years ago, so there's already federal resources available. So, Aaron Salentine thinks the Democrat Party or lost election because Palestinian Americans are going to be voting for Green Party. There's not enough Palestinian Americans with citizenship to really make a swing in that regard. I'm sure they will vote Green Party and vote for Jill Stein, but it's it's not going to do anything. All that will happen is Trump becomes president, and then Trump tells Netanyahu to massacre everybody. He won't do anything about it. That's kind of it. Like, if you go to the Palestinians in Gaza, they're saying anyone but Trump will take Harris. That's kind of what it comes down to. N9. We have House Hippos in Canada. Classic Canadian commercial about not believing anything you see on TV. Relevant even today. Watch it used. It's like a minute 30 seconds long. Okay. House Hippos. Kyle Cooper. Oh crap. Where I just lost Kyle Cooper. Kyle Cooper, Houston. U.S. Forest Service stuff I mentioned, making national news. Fiance on her last hitch of the season. I'm getting lit and downloading God of War Ragnarok. Why is Steam so slow? Replace it, GME. Steam is very slow. I actually finally got Red Dead Redemption 2 because it was on sale, and it took like 3 days for it to download. So, yeah. Michael Steegs, Houston. For No Labs, the best continuous monitoring shows a MARD value of 8 to 10. I see that No Labs is showing MARD values between 11 and 14. Can you explain if this is sufficient for FDA? I cannot, because I do not necessarily know what those values mean per se exactly. MARD value. Mean absolute relative difference. A metric that measures the average difference between device measurement and a reference measurement for glucose levels. It's a common way to assess accuracy of the continuous glucose monitor. Reported as percentage MARD is the average of the absolute difference between the device and reference measurements. Good analytical performance. CGM measured with MARD less than 10% is generally considered to have good analytical performance. So they're having a 11 to 14% difference. A lot of that can probably come down to what algorithm they can put into their machine to make up for any measurement errors or noise. So at this point, it's probably pretty decent. Especially if they can continuously monitor like at all times and give you a general idea of what's going on. I think it's going to be okay. Yeah. So that's glucose. I'm looking at continuous monitor, glucose monitor for 24-hour period, responding to the glucose measurements. Okay, that's monkey. Oh, she's in my room. She's climbing around in here. Where'd you do that, kitten monkey? Is she under this? She might be under here.
Okay.
Yeah. She's hanging out.
I was like, okay, as long as she didn't go like slip by when someone opened the door.
No. She's monkey and her are playing right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, cool.
Yeah, she's fine. All right. Another month. What are puts looking at for DJT going into Friday? DJT options chain. It's dropped a lot in the last week. So we're at 13.98 on that guy. Going into Friday. So 13.5s. Oh, these are calls. The puts. If you bought puts earlier this week, you made a couple $100. So good job. They're actually kind of cheap. 38 cents for at the money. And there's a chance to drop even more. But for next week. $1.26 for next week at the money. 96 cents for just below. I mean, it's going to go to zero at some point. I just don't know when. Probably not till after the election. It'll be going to zero. But doesn't seem to be that much action. Like, you'd think there'd be more people with money on these. A lot of people at $13 got a couple thousand there. 3,000 at 10. Those people are very hopeful that shit goes sideways in the next week. What about for November? November 15th. That's probably going to be where people are loaded up. We got a lot of people that bought a long time ago at really high values. 3,000 of them at 60 back in the day. We have at 115, 3,000 of them at 115. Interesting. Yeah, these folks probably purchased. These guys are looking for after the election and thinking, hey, he loses, the value of this thing disappears, he goes to prison, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. It's looking all right. There's a good chunk of them in there. Not as big as popular stocks like GameStop, but still a good chunk. Michael Steegs, Hill Houston, for no labs, 0.55% people have type 1 diabetes. Most people have type 2. In the Netherlands, insurance only covers continuous monitoring for type 1. Can you make a new calculation? Most of the calculations I've done have to do with the U.S. So we can, I won't, oh crap, I gotta get going here. So we'll do one quick calculation and then Houston's gotta run away. Turn off the Chrome, gotta turn on the calculator, calculator. All right, so point 0.055 times 330 million means, yeah, 1 million type 1 diabetics at $99 a month for 12 months a year. You're still at $2 billion in revenue. So that's $2 billion in revenue just for the thing. But yeah, at the end, you get another 28 million Americans who have type 2 diabetes who need glucose monitoring as well. So yeah, it's fun times. All right, Monkey Butt, you had a good time playing with that kitten in a box. Everybody, you have a great day. I've got to get running. We'll do a regular show tomorrow. You know, start at 2:30 or whatever, and have a good time. All right? Okay. While Monkey's having like pure chaos behind me, I'm going to. Low B, per CNBC, 15 minutes ago, Trump media shareholder UAV dumped nearly 11 million shares. Oh my! So interesting. Okay, thank you, Low B. Now, the outro. Okay.